Welcome back to the new video, guys. So today in this particular video I'm talking about clotting factors, and in this today's video I am telling you, or I'm sharing you, the best mnemonics to remember all the clotting factors serially from 1 to 13. So without any delay, let's move forward. So before knowing about clotting factor, let's know something about coagulation. So coagulation is formation of insoluble fibrin from circulating soluble fibrinogen in presence of thrombin 2A. So this thrombin 2A stands for activated thrombin. That means this thrombin is activated form of prothrombin, which is coagulation factor number 2. So we are learning all the coagulation factors from 1 to 13 in this particular video. So coagulation is an important part of hemostasis. Here the soluble fibrinogen is converted into insoluble fibrin, and those fibrin are cross-linked to form fibrin fibers. This helps in the clotting of blood. So coagulation is an important part of hemostasis. So now let's learn about coagulation cascade here. So this particular diagram is about coagulation cascade, and there are, you can see here, there are many factors. This is factor 12A, which is activated factor 12, then factor 11 activated factor, and 9 and 9A similarly. One thing I want to tell you in this slide is that coagulation cascade has three main pathways that are intrinsic pathways, extrinsic pathway, and those intrinsic and extrinsic pathway meet together at common pathway. So common pathway starts with factor 10. So without any delay, let's learn about these all factors. So now clotting factors. I want to tell a few things about clotting factors. Altogether there are 12 clotting factors, and these includes proteins and ions as well. Similarly, they are named from 1 to 13. And how is that? There are altogether 12 factors, but they are named from 1 to 13. Factor 6 is not included in coagulation factors. It's because factor 6 was initially postulated as one of the factor called axarelin generated by factor 5, but later on it was proved that factor 6 is activated form of factor 5, that is labile factor, also known as proaxarelin factor. So nowadays we don't consider factor 6 as a clotting factor, but it is proved that it was activated form of factor 5 only. So let's go to the main part of the video, that is mnemonics. So I've created one story, and it is very famous mnemonic as well. So this is: foolish people tried climbing long slopes after Christmas. So you can just close your eyes and remember this. Foolish people tried climbing long slope after Christmas. Some people have fallen from there. Now the foolish people were there. They tried climbing long slopes after Christmas. So some people have fallen. So let's go to this particular diagram to understand the coagulation factors and their roles in coagulation cascade. First one factor you see here, it is foolish, that is fibrinogen. So this fibrinogen factor is the main one, because this is the protein that is going to be converted into insoluble fibrin here. So this insoluble fibrin is cross-linked, and this cross-linking is assisted by factor number 13. This factor number 13 is fibrin stabilizing factor, that is FOLN. So this fibrin stabilizing factor is going to stabilize or cross-link the fibrin threads so as to make the clot strong and stable. So the second one is foolish people. So people stands for a prothrombin. This prothrombin is also an important factor of common pathway of coagulation cascade. Prothrombin is converted to thrombin, and that thrombin converts fibrinogen into fibrin. This prothrombin is factor number 2, which is converted into thrombin, which is activated factor number 2. And for those conversion, there is requirement of factor number 10 and also factor number 5 here. So let's go to the third here. Third coagulation factor, that is tri, is also known as thromboplastin. This thromboplastin is also known as a tissue factor, and this thromboplastin is very much essential in the extrinsic pathway. In the this thromboplastin is very much important in extrinsic pathway, which is tissue factor. This tissue factor, which is in extrinsic pathway, it itself is thromboplastin. Tissue factor is also known as thromboplastin here, tissue factor. Similarly, we have climbing. Climbing stands for calcium. So now this calcium is very much important, but it is not, I guess it is not shown in this diagram, but calcium is very much important factor that is important to convert this factor number 10 to activated factor. Calcium is very important. Similarly, to convert prothrombin to thrombin also there is a requirement of calcium. Similarly, to convert this fibrin stabilizing factor, which is also known as factor number 13, to convert this to activated factor, and so as to convert fibrin into cross-linked fibrin, calcium is also needed. Similarly, factor number 5 is long, that is labile factor. This labile factor is very much important to convert prothrombin into thrombin here. Similarly, we have factor number 6, which is no longer in use. I've already said factor number 6 about the factor number 6 in the video. Similarly, factor number 7 is stable factor. Stable factor is this, so this one factor is present here. So this factor is also tissue factor, but it is known as tissue factor 7. So this tissue factor 7 is also essential to convert factor number 10 to activated factor. Similarly, we have factor number 8, which is after, that is anti-hemophilic factor A. The deficiency of anti-hemophilic factor causes hemophilia A. And this anti-hemophilic factor I am talking about, which is factor number 8, which is very much essential in conversion of factor number again 10 to 10A here. Similarly, we have Christmas factor. This Christmas factor is also known as anti-hemophilic factor B, and this anti-hemophilic factor B, which is known as Christmas factor, is the component of intrinsic pathway. Similarly, Stewart factor, which is X, 10th factor, which is Stewart factor. This is also the part of the common pathway. This 10th factor is very much important because this factor is the factor in which this intrinsic pathway and extrinsic pathway meet. Similarly, we have 11th factor, which is plasma thromboplastin antecedent, also known as anti-hemophilic factor C. This is the factor of intrinsic pathway. Similarly, we have Hagman factor, which is 12th factor. 12th factor is important because it is essential for starting the intrinsic pathway. This 12th factor is essential for intrinsic pathway of coagulation. Similarly, this 13th factor, which is fibrin stabilizing factor, has the role at the last but very important role. This fibrin stabilizing factor has a role to convert or a role to cross-link the fibrin clot and to stabilize the clot formed. So to summarize today's lecture, we have mnemonics. Foolish people try climbing long slopes after Christmas. Some people have fallen. Full stands for fibrinogen, people stands for prothrombin, tri stands for thromboplastin, C for calcium, L for labile factor, slopes for stable factor, after for anti-hemophilic factor, A, Christmas for Christmas factor, S for Stewart Proer factor, people for plasma thromboplastin antecedent. Similarly, have for Hesman factor, fallen for fibrin stabilizing factor. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope this video was useful for everyone. Like, share and comment this video. If you like the video, you can like the video. If you find it helpful, please share this video to all your medical friends. Thanks for watching.